Hey, it's me, Bree. I'm back with 33 Strategies of War, Defensive Warfare. This is part 3 of a 5-part series. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and go watch the other 2 parts of this if you are interested. I think I've already covered declaring war on yourself and lessons in leadership, which was like defense. Yeah. So now we're talking about that's organizational team warfare, and now we're talking specifically about defensive warfare. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. Comment, like, subscribe. Now let's get into it. All right, so part 3, defensive warfare. Now, guys, if I haven't told y'all already, I am enjoying this book so much. It was keeping me like in a gym, keeping me focused, and I'm on part 4, which is offensive warfare right now, and I love it. But that'll be the next video. Right now, we have to talk about defensive warfare because everybody, no matter who you are or what you do, there will come a day where you have to defend yourself. And this book will come in handy. Starting off, one can win an expensive battle, but is usually not worth the risk. Try to spend your opponent's assets, draw them into battle, bait them to fight the expensive fight. So with that said, understand that you want to be economical as possible with your resources. Be efficient. I'm not saying to be cheap. That is no good. But I'm not saying to overspend. I'm saying to be as economic as possible. Efficiency is the key when it comes to defending your warfare. So, the perfect economy strategy. First of all, pick your battles. Conserve all your assets. You need to know your strengths and play to them. War consists of weakening the other side, militarily, financially, or morally. You need to weaken the other side. The best example he gave of this was Queen Elizabeth I when she ascended the throne to England in 1558. She at that time it was a secondary military power, and her advisors were telling her that she should engage with Philip II of Spain and try to overtake him. She just doesn't listen to what they say. She doesn't believe in them. Instead, she looked for more subtle ways of damaging him, and so she enlisted the Royal Navy to run these pirate raids on his ships, just doing all kinds of vandalism, like really just making them spend a lot of money. She just kind of drained their resources financially by like tearing up all their property. And so with these techniques, she ended up destroying the Spanish Armada, and they had to like not even try to go after England because it would just been too expensive to try. So it says a couple keys to warfare are here. Make do with what you have. Leverage your assets. Anything you have can be a resource. If you don't have it, you probably don't need it. But be creative as possible with what you do have and use it with all of your might. 2. Do not rely on technology and equipment. Rely on your knowledge. You are smarter than any computer, machine, car, tank, gun, whatever. You can have all the best technology around you, but if you don't know what you're doing, you simply don't know what you're doing. So always put more emphasis on educating the mind and building up the strategies rather than just trying to get the coolest new toy or tech, right? See it in photographers all the time. They're getting a new camera. You got to learn how to master the equipment that you have. Very simple. Next, balance your ends to your means. Do not get overextended. So you need to have balance. Again, don't be cheap. Don't be too frugal, but also don't overextend yourself in your finances. Find that perfect medium to where you are getting, what you're getting in comes out. Your output matches your input, or you're getting more out of your output than you put in your input, which is even better. But do not overextend yourself. That is the key component to life. Use deception where you do not have the economic means to expand. You can take Queen Elizabeth for an example here. She did not have the economic means to go toe-to-toe with Spain. So what did she do? She deceived them and acted as if she wasn't at war with them, but sent a bunch of ships to go destroy their property. So be deceptive and conniving where you cannot expand, right? Do not proceed only out of pride. Stop before it gets worse. So if you know you are sure to lose, it is okay to bow out, but do not continue to go just for your pride's sake, because it's only going to make matters worse, and you can probably destroy your reputation, your finances, or your morality in the process. So goes to the last key here. It's just know your limits. There are times when one needs to strike first, but try to draw your opponent into the first strike on your own terms. If this does not work, reassess your options for an offensive approach. All right, chapter 9 is the counterattack strategy. Moving first shows your opponent your strategy. Wait. Draw them to make the first move. Analyze their strategy and counterattack based on the weaknesses that they reveal. So the first of this was disguising aggression, which Napoleon did in the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. He played scared and panicky. So then the Tsar of Alexander I of Russia, who's anxious for revenge, sees this and decides, oh, this is the perfect time. He leads his allies into battle when Napoleon says, I'm not really panicky or scared. And he draws the opposing forces forward to expose their weak center, and he defeats them. So he disguises his aggression by pretending to be like he was overwhelmed and scared. Keys to warfare here. History shows that defenders usually win the war. Because they have an opportunity to look at a person's strategy and how they fight. So if they're just defending their territory and have had time to watch you in warfare, then they can use that knowledge to their benefit and win. So be careful of that. 2, attempt to draw your opponent into battle by their anger. Anger a person into battle. Push them into moving first. Do not start the fight. Only counterattack. Second, turn the aggressor's anger against them. This is best, I think, taught when he talked about jujitsu. Use their energy to your benefit. If they are angry and paranoid, play up their paranoia. If they feel economically strapped, make sure they feel that way and know it. The next thing is keep calm. Irritating and frustrating your opponent. Nothing is worse than when someone is, when you're sharing your feelings, right? You send a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, and then they write you back, okay? The nonchalant attitude is always something that's going to irritate the shit out of somebody. So when you do that, understand that you're kind of creating this annoyance in them that's going to frustrate them to attack. And you have to be ready for that counterattack. Next, remove your emotions. Try to be emotionless and think strategically in your actions. And then deceive your opponent into attacking you. So if they will only attack you if you seem weak or mild, be weak or mild. If they only attack you when they think you're out of resources, pretend to be out of resources. But you don't want to strike first, and you don't want to reveal your hand. Bluff them. Bluff them, bluff them, bluff them. It says risk is inherent in making yourself look foolish and threatening. Without action, you will condition people to ignore you. You need to take action on occasion. So, deterrent strategies. Make people think they will lose. Bluff is needed. People want an easy victory and will not attack if they think they will lose. So you can reverse intimidation, right? You can make bold maneuvers and bluff wisely. Be a threat and make sudden moves that imply aggression. Move irrationally, create unpredictability, act crazy. You can feed your opponent's paranoia by indicating capabilities that they are afraid of. And then maintain a bad reputation of being mean, nasty, and non-negotiable. These are deterrents and reverse intimidation actions and practices. For instance, in 1862, during the American Civil War, Stonewall Jackson acted strong and played to George McLean's weak points, focusing on his anxiety and timid nature. In 13th century, Robert the Bruce made great trial to a ragtag army against the British armies and King Edward II. His efforts eventually brought him recognition. Most of the gains by Robert the Bruce were through bold raids, swift incursions, and combination of offensive and defensive actions. And then John Boyd, who was assigned to work in the Pentagon, used the strategy of playing dumb, but heavily researched issues purposed by others and plotting tactics to kill the initiatives. So he always showed himself as dumb, but was like really, really smart and was like always cultivating a back end strategy. So retreat is not an end unless your goal is a martyrdom. Your plan must include an attack. Fighting for martyrdom has a grander cause you will never see. The last chapter in this particular section is Trade Space for Time, the non-engagement strategy. So this talks about retreat. Retreat will gain the advantage of thinning your opponent's forces and lengthening their supply and communication lines, allowing your forces to concentrate. Not fighting when they know you can will aggravate your opponent and increase the chance of them making an irrational move. So you have to retreat to advance. Chiang Kai-shek's Nationalist Party forced Mao Tse-tung's communists to retreat in the early stages of the Chinese Civil War. This action has the effect of strengthening the support of the communists by uniting and galvanizing the peasants. So in the 1949, they actually defeated the nationalists. So what are some keys to warfare here? Retreat in order to solidify troops and support. Secondly, draw out supply and communication lines of your opponent. Third, frustrate the opponent by refusing to fight. Fourth, create condition of increased error on the opponent's side. So, that is how you do defensive warfare. When is this most useful? Is when you're just kind of minding your business, people keep fucking with you, okay? And then so sometimes, you know, even when you're just like minding your own business, people will come and attack you. They will feel a sense of paranoia, jealousy, intimidation, or whatever. And in those instances, it's important that you know how to defend yourself. And, you know, don't be tricked out of your position. Don't become too emotional. And don't allow yourself to be backed into a corner. Once you defend yourself properly and appropriately, people don't attack you very much often after that. So a good defense strategy, even if you want peace, even if you live by the idea of peace, a good defense strategy will allow you to act peacefully in 90% of your occasions, because people know that you have the ability to act unpeacefully when necessary. So if you like this series, because I'm loving it, stay tuned. I have part 4 coming for you where we talk about offensive warfare. This is my favorite part of the book. I'm loving this part. And so, yeah, don't want you guys to miss it. So make sure you hit comment, like, subscribe. Check out the description box to figure out different ways to connect with me. And, yeah, I'll be back shortly with more videos to come.